So here on the innovation stage, we will now change a bit the perspective. So in the morning, we've learned a lot about different business models. We also took a look at different innovations coming up in the digitech sector. And now we want to talk a bit more about the changing regulatory environment in the financial industry, as well as the relevant cybersecurity aspects. So in the last years, we've seen an increase in regulatory requirements, for example, with BaIT and DORA, which was finalized a couple of weeks ago, that are becoming increasingly demanding for banks. So how to master this regulatory challenge of tomorrow, and that's hopefully the last person that will leave the room now, so that we have some peace here. No, it's okay. I think it's an interesting topic, but regulatory affairs is, I think for most of them, sounds a bit boring, which is not true, because it's quite good also for business. So we are all curious what Jan-Niklas Wilde will tell us about. So welcome on stage, because he will share his insights on the current compliance and cybersecurity regulatory landscape in the digital finance sector. And I will just take a chance, like another minute, I promise, to introduce you. He is a senior business development executive and the team lead at Myra. In this function, he is responsible for new customer business in the areas of healthcare and finance and insurance, as well as the cooperation with the associated channel partners. Moreover, he is very knowledgeable on cybersecurity and compliance related topics, which will be at the core of his keynote. So we could have not get a better person here to learn more about it. We are happy to hear about it, and I hand over to you.
Thank you so much.
I don't like Mondays.
We've been attacked! Huge traffic spike!
Yes, hello. Thank you for attending and not leaving the room. I guess the topic of supervisory and regulations scared some of the people, but my topic and my favorite topic is the topic of cybersecurity. And I want to show you today the importance of cybersecurity in our actual situation in the market, and as well, on the other hand side, how to cope with the struggle at some points with the regulation and what kind of solutions are there on the market. So we created the videos you just saw with Jung van Matt from Hamburg to have on the one hand a bit humoristic view on the cybersecurity, but on the other hand, it's a really serious topic we see every day. So what do we see? What is there in the market? To first start off, I bet most of you never heard before of Myra Security. So what do we do? What are we there for? We're a German company. We're existing since 10 years now, and we're based in Munich and offer our customers a security as a service platform. Goal of this platform is to secure our customers and their applications and their digital services before they got hit by DDoS attacks, for example. And in the end, our technology is like a protection layer in front of their infrastructure. So in their core infrastructures, their web applications, their APIs, their online portals, their online banking applications, or even trading applications. So we're doing this really successfully over the last years. We won customers like the federal government, Bundesregierung.de, Bundeskanzler.de. We're also in the finance market, working together with the DKB, with Trade Republic, with Penta, with the Sparkassen. So there's a big ecosystem of customers, all in, I would say, legacy banking, but also in fintech. But to get back to what is there in the market and what do we see in the market, I'd like to share some thoughts with you and to give you more the aspect of cybersecurity. Because if you look on the market, there's two sides I can define for, or the customers tell me about that IT security is no longer just a prevention from attackers on the one hand side, but on the other hand side, there's the regulatory supervision and regulations that check if there's an IT security implemented. And this is these two sides both try to check if they're really the security measurements and security solutions in place. So the attackers you see on the left side, there are three groups. In this picture, you have the script kiddies that just try to get some success in the attacks on different companies. Then you have the automated attacks like botnets, and the third one is as we see, the most dangerous. It's the groups, the organized groups, the highly professional groups in the market, supported often by governments who have certain interests, and we see it also in the geopolitical situation at the moment with Ukraine, that these groups are getting really, really much attention in the market and going there target really specific companies. And as a result of that is like BaFin just this week gave another warning out in the market in the newsletter and said DDoS attacks is one of the most dangerous attacks that are out there, and they really rised in the last half a year, I would say, and that's also what we see in the market. But to get back to the market itself, I brought some numbers. So Allianz said in 2021 that cyber incidents are #1 business risk. It depends, of course, on how the business model is of the companies, but especially in finance, you see on the right side, the financial sector is affected 300 times more often because it's a really lucrative market to attack, because there's the money, there's the impact, there are the digital processes, and if they are affected, the banks usually have a problem, and they are more often accept any ransom or pay the attackers that their services are again available for the customers. And the damage is big. I don't want to tell you every number, you've already read them, and 9 out of 10 companies are there and got attacked. What we see, or what I brought you, is a letter we got from a customer of ours. So this is an actual letter that was sent to a bank from an attacker, and it was funny, not really funny for us, but for the customer, because he was contacted by our SOC. So our colleague said, you are under attack, and he was like, okay, now I understand why I got this letter. So he had no impact on his services, but on the other side, got the letter from the attacker who tried to being paid by him. And you see, what I want to show you with the letter here is how professional this works. Because there's an introduction of the attacker. There is the whole process described how the attack will follow, and there's always a first wave, I would call it, to show the customers, yes, here we are, but the next attack will be even bigger. And at this point, then there's the ransom fee, I would call it, in a certain amount of bitcoins that has to be paid to the attackers. Otherwise, the big attack will start. And that you can see the 2 week, or is it 1 week? I don't know. The letters, they differ because we have many of them played back from our customers. So that the customers have the time to get Bitcoin if they want to pay. Our clear suggestion, yes, please.
Suggestion was the right trigger. What would you suggest to do?
Yes, our suggestion is at any time not to pay, because this is in the end what fuels the other side. Because if there are attackers who got paid, they get even more professional. They have more money to employ more people to code these attacks, buy more capacity for the attacks. And our clear suggestion is to work together with the officials, call the police. They have specialized on these topics, and they're really, really good people involved also on the Bundesregierung, LKAs, BKA side, which are really focusing and absolute experts who work with the customers and us as the provider to find the attackers, but on the other hand side, to defend the attacks. From here, going back to the regulatory side. So we as a provider, we're providing security services to financial institutions. And of course, the topic of compliance and regulation is always there. And IT outsourcing is always a topic, because there's so many different regulations, MaRisk, BIT, ZIT, you name them, and all the stuff with Auslagerung, wesentliche Auslagerung, all the outsourcing topics, and these topics are changing, getting more complex, getting revised. No new amendments are going to be made, and it's a constant process. And we as a provider see this, and I give you in the next minutes some hints where to look at if you're choosing a provider, and on the other hand, what is important to look at if you are evaluating providers. So the regulation, as I said, is getting stricter. I think everyone who follows the BaFin and the last couple of months and years saw that, especially after the Wirecard topic, it got a lot stricter. So we also saw that. And our customers came with this topic back to us and said, okay, we have new restrictions, we have audits coming, 44er Sonderprüfung is on their way or was there, and there are a lot of points made that have to be or were criticized. So if on the one hand, the customers said, okay, we have to cope with the different findings from the audits. On the other hand, on the other side, we want to focus on our business processes, but because that is what is important for us. We want to get further, develop our technology, bring our services to our customers, but do not want to spend so much time just with regulation and coping with the instructions of the auditors. So this is a big topic, and then this I call it gray field of data protection and different topics there with the Cloud Act, with the Schrems 2 and US providers. We talked a lot in other discussions here today and yesterday about the American hyperscalers and at some point that there are no alternatives. I can tell you in our field there are alternatives, otherwise I wouldn't be here. But it's always to look at the different providers and really see how they focus on which business is this really about our business, or is it just tech? because just tech is nice. It probably helps the company to move further, but if it's not allowed to use the technology in the end, and you have a lot of effort to put in to comply, then it won't work in the long term. And so the best practice for us and what our customers reflect is, if you have a growing threat landscape out there and you have the increasing compliance requirements, you should always bring cybersecurity and compliance together. They have to go hand in hand to be able to focus on your business and just can check the box with the compliance and cybersecurity together. We're doing that in the end by different types of processes on the inside, but also on the contractual side. And I brought you some hints where to look at if there are different requirements for the cybersecurity service providers. On the left-hand side, you can see GDPR, of course. IT Security Act is called here, IT Sicherheitsgesetz 2.0. But also, which is really important for the banking sector with platform and new technologies rising, for a long-time investment, that it's fully automated. So no more resources have to be put on a new product, a new service that is used by the company, and maximum scalability. So that's what we see. And we're coming out of the e-commerce market, and they know how to scale. They know how to enter new markets and ramp up everything that's online based, online shops, markets, etc. And that's what a platform and a provider should bring and provide them. And then the material outsourcing, Auslagerung, I talked about this, should also be implemented in the services and in the structure of the services and the companies itself. And then there's the logos, the certifications on the right-hand side, which in the end prove that a company offers a certain level of excellence and certification, which is always, I would say, at some points complementary, but often really helpful for auditors. If you just can say, okay, my provider here has these certification, and that also helps us if there are audits from BaFin, for example, if we work together with our customers and they ask for these certifications. So in the end, I just want to, I hope I could give you a small insight in what is there in the market in cybersecurity, but on the other side, what's in for you, because your business is in the end that what matters. And if your business is not running, your services are not available in the market, no one can use it. And with the big possibilities of different services in the market, customers are really, really easy, can change the platform, use another company. And so just wanted to end with the quote, not be like the guy in the beginning and being hit by the arrow. So be protected, and if you want to chat, we're out there, get to our booth, and I'm happy to talk to you. Thank you. and I think we have a couple of time for maybe a minute if there are any questions.
Yeah, that would. Yeah. I would like to suggest that because we started a bit later.
Of course.
So like rearranging the room. So I would say we have a couple of minutes for a question, maybe 2 minutes. So if there are questions, you're welcome to raise them now. Otherwise, I would have one. I mean, I can do it. I can do the start. So you mentioned some of the regulatory requirements we already have to fulfill and that we have to fulfill in the future. Do you think that they are kind of future-proof, that they actually really tackle the problem? Do you think they are enough, like in that sense?
I can't speak for the customers, but I can speak for the providers as we are. And for us, it's a continuous process, because there will be new requirements from the supervisory on the regulation side, and we have to cope with them and have to always adopt to them for our customers, because they rely on our profession and our knowledge about these topics. And if we as a provider can cope with that, it's also good for them, because if they get the audit and they say we're using Myra, they can check the box again.
Yeah, and maybe, so still no questions. Maybe I have a last one. Because a couple of weeks ago we had an event in Brussels where we also discussed the cyber threats. So this is definitely kind of a critical structure if you do that in the finance sector. And they said, oh yeah, we are good. So I mean, during the pandemic, we saw already an increase, and they expect an increase, but for now they feel like they're good. Do you agree with that? Or would you say, okay, maybe we should actually start now and to be more aware of it?
I think the awareness isn't the problem, because if I go to the office, first way I make is to our SOC and the top floor, the guys who monitor the attacks. And it's not the question if there was an attack, but who got the attack today. So we really, the awareness is there. I think it's always about the criticality of the services that are protected. And if you just have a website, and it doesn't matter if it's there or not, or if you have, as the DKB, a online banking with millions of customers who want to log into their online banking, there's a critical service and digital process that has to be protected. So I think it depends on the business model, but the awareness over the last months is extremely rising, and I think that's no longer the problem.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much. I think, again, we can applause a bit, right? That keeps us also awake. Thank you very much. It was a really interesting keynote, and I hope you will have many people coming over to your booth.
Thank you.
I think that I would come.